All right, love loves. Welcome to morning. No. Cut. One more time. Welcome to Midday Mindset with Ty. We're not even over at morning mindset. So welcome to Midday Mindset with Ty. I'm super excited to welcome you all back, and thank you so much for your patience and for, hold on one second. I might drop for a minute. All right. So thank you for your patience. We are back, and Aunjanue is ready to join us. And so I'm super excited that you all waited. Hi, Lorna. Happy birthday, sis. I'm super excited about this conversation, and just to speak to Aunjanue, as I was sharing earlier today when I was joining and waiting. And there she is. You're here. You're here. Come on in, girl. As I was sharing earlier, we were... is. Oh my gosh. It is crazily riveting. Hi, I can't hear you. I can't. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Anjuna, maybe go. You look beautiful, by the way, but maybe go back out and then come back in. Sometimes okay. We're gonna try that again. Can everyone hear me? And I am going to establish a moderator. So Bree, if you can do a post really quickly, you could hear me. Okay. So, okay, perfect. I'm gonna add you as the moderator right now. Perfect, thank you. Confirm that Bree the lady will be the moderator, because we ain't got no time for no foolishness today, which is what those people were trying to give us for a moment. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, so hopefully Anjuna will come back in, but I was sharing, I had the opportunity to watch Origin yesterday or last night. Request, here you go. Okay, perfect. There you are. Okay, go live. Let's see if this is working. I hear sound.
Girl.
I know, girl. I know. Okay, so nice to meet you, sis.
So nice to meet you.
So
nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Sidra has said nothing but incredibly wonderful things. She was just like, Ty, y'all would just be kicking it and hanging out and all the things. But when I tell you, I was so moved beyond. I don't even know if I fully have all of the words, because it was riveting. It was soul stirring. It was deeply emotional, where it moved my heart. It shifted my heart. It raised so many, your performance, and this is what I'm saying. So let me contextual. Everyone, welcome into Midday Mindset with Ty, where I'm joined by the incredible Aunjanue Ellis Taylor, star who plays the incredible Isabel Wilkerson in Origin, and Ava DuVernay's Origin, which comes out in national theaters this Friday, correct?
Mm-hmm. January 19th, day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. How's your spirit? How are you doing? How's your spirit?
I am doing, and one of the reasons that I was slow to come on is I was having a conversation with a woman, and it was someone who I had a kind of a fraught public conversation with years ago. And I wanted to speak to her, and I feel like I possibly disappointed her, because I think she had an expectation of me that I did not meet. But one of the places that we I guess diverged with is, this idea of Black feminism, and so we just kind of had a conversation that ended up being kind of fraught again, because of my views about Black feminism, and feeling like I am a Black woman who fights patriarchy, come from a tradition of Black women who fought patriarchy, but didn't identify as Black feminists. and just I believe strongly that there has to be space made for women like that.
Yeah.
There has to be space made for my grandmother in how we talk about how Black women have staged revolutions in our existence here. There has to be space made for church women like my grandmother, women like my mother, who did not identify as Black feminists, but their work was no less necessary
Mm,
to who we are
mm.
as Black people living right now. So so it was a tough conversation, but I feel like how it applies into origin. I don't mean to get deep, but you asked me
No,
how I am.
I want that. And thank you for sharing. This is so the beauty of this space, midday mindset is typically morning mindset, is that it's a safe space for us
Mm,
to be heard, to share our real truths and
mm,
truths outside of the character truths that we have to show up in
yeah.
externally. And so I'm saying this to you, my sister, as you know, that's your job, you know, and you
Mm-hmm.
did your job well in this film Origin. But I'm also here for you as a sister. And I wanted to say I identify and I resonate, and thank you again for sharing and holding space and being vulnerable and transparent in
Mm-hmm.
that. Because I do think that as we enter this time and, you know, in season in the world, right, where there is elevated knowledge, or not always consciousness and wisdom, but there's elevated knowledge, like people have awareness in different ways,
Mm-hmm.
that there becomes this holier than thou show up around what it's meant to look like versus like embracing. And the labels too, do they matter? And I'm a proud product of Spelman College, and so we talked about womanist theory,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which, you know, when we go to the levels of what that looks like and what that shapes, and it's not far from what the film is about, quite frankly, because there are levels and layers to it. And I think once we get out of this space of there needing to be an absolute.
Right. Hold on one
No
second.
problem.
Yes, yes.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Tripika?
What?
Everyone, you're tapped into
30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes, please.
I am so excited. I'm just having a real conversation with my new sister, Aunjanue. And I'm grateful for you. So thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for honoring our time and for being here. I mean it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I mean it. I mean it. When we talk about, well, let me ask you this. Who are you? Who is Aunjanue?
I am the daughter of Jacqueline Taylor. I am the granddaughter of Murtis Tate Taylor. I am a Southern girl. Maze sang a song about me. Yeah, and I'm an agitator. I live to make Confederates mad. I write. I'm a sister. I'm in love with my family. And uh, I like sweet potato pie and green tea ice cream.
Green. So okay. So then that means you like Japanese food too. Then if you're doing the green tea ice cream. Okay. Okay. When and so it's interesting because when I hear you explain who you are, Aunjanue, it sounds like you brought a lot of who you are to your character, Isabel Wilkerson, and there might be some similarities and some crossover in that. And when Ava approached you for this role, what was your first reaction, or when you were approached for this role, or how did that come about, and what was your reaction to this incredible piece where, I mean, the layers, that's the layers.
Right. First of all, your lipstick. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that Ava wanted to do that I thought was so fascinating was that she wanted to explore the interior life of a Black woman. And just her interest in doing that, and what I wanted to do as well, if I had, because this was before I got the job, is we don't see that.
Yeah.
We don't see that.
Yeah.
right? We see Black women politicized, and we see a Black woman is the canvas of this nation's insecurities, right? So all the things that are put upon us, and we're judged for being mad, we're judged for being angry, we're judged for crying, we're judged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so little time and space is given to what is going on in our minds.
Yeah.
You know, we so much is about our bodies and how our bodies move in space, how our asses move in space. But what about our minds? And that was what was exciting to me about playing somebody like this. I like to think that I'm a bit of a thinker. I'm a reader, but I'm not Isabel Wilkerson. Isabel Wilkerson is a freaking genius. She's Pulitzer Prize winning. But I do share that space of what I'm driven by. I'm driven and seduced by words, and feeling like words are like my weapons and my spaceships. So I did share that with her. I did share that with her.
What was interesting for me in watching the film and how you described it is exactly, I didn't have the words for that, but when you say that Ava wanted, to show and demonstrate the mind of a Black woman. And it's interesting because I couldn't put that in words, because even when and I'm going to talk about a scene, everyone go see the film on Friday, buy your tickets now, get your tickets now. But the scene where she lays on the leaves, that to me, that laying down, but being held and being grounded and and it was interesting because it wasn't a physical where she was ensconced or wrapped, but it was this laying down. And actually I thought about it. I said, what is going through her mind in these moments? And so what I loved about the film is that there were so many elements and layers of how it is shown. I saw the drama. I saw, we experienced her life with Brett, but then at the same time, it was documentary. So this vacillation of how we're brought into this film and educated through the Black woman experience. And what I love is, even as Isabel, explored in India, you still felt her Blackness as a Black woman. And even with the layers of, her relationship, it was all those things. Was there a piece of the experience that perhaps took you so far out of your comfort zone? And how did you focus your mindset to show up in taping and shooting something so dynamic and so layered?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time to think. I didn't have a lot of time to think. We were, I think Ava said it's 37 days we shot.
Wow.
And we were shooting all over the world, in India and Berlin and Savannah, Georgia. There was not a lot of time to think. I was really in fight or flight, flight the whole time. And I loved this so much. I was just exhilarated by it. I felt that I believed so much in what Miss Wilkerson wrote in her arming people who are in this supposed lower caste, arming us with a new language to help us in our fight against the dominant caste, which which continues to choose to self-destruct, and we carry us along in that self-destruction. So I was exhilarated to go to work every morning and live in this woman in the way that I could, because I felt like I was a part of a mission.
Yeah, I mean, the mission is clear. The mission is clear, and I took away a very specific, understanding. But I would love for you to share with us. I mean, here we are talking, as two Black women, but why this is a film for everyone and an important film for everyone to see. I was enthusiastic to see Angelina Jolie herald the film the way that she did.
How about that, right?
You said, how? I ain't
How
mad.
about that?
How about that? I was enthusiastic to see that. And obviously, Angelina sits at a very interesting intersection because she has children that are not white.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but I also think she has another different level of consciousness. But, you know, I think oftentimes in this space, what happens is that when you see a film from a Black filmmaker with Black actors and Black actresses, people think that that's something that is meant to be over there. Why is Origin so important for everyone to see?
Yeah, it's important for everyone. And I don't want to be presumptuous about this because, you know, anybody can come, my movie, everybody should see my movie, you know, and I'm really not coming from that. I do believe though that Origin, and you know, based on the book Cast, and it is an extension of what Ms. Wilkerson was speaking about in building this argument for Cast as a better way for us to describe who we are and how we do this bullshit social division work that we do, you know. I think that it helps us understand what we are doing. It gives us the language for it in a way, because you know people throw around race, and it, to the point that race is now an abstraction. It doesn't mean anything. You put a race in an argue into a discussion with someone who is trying to take your rights away from you, trying to take books out of your libraries. If you put race into that discussion, they got to come back, and with that comeback, they'll throw Martin Luther King up in it, you know. So it has become it's like the word nice. It doesn't have any muscle. It doesn't have any teeth to it anymore. And what she has done essentially is said, no, what we think is the engine of this being race, it is in fact not race. It is something bigger. It is something more vast. It is also something more dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can't have a conversation. Race is just this, right? But then when you put caste in it, then it holds all of us accountable. Absolutely. How about that? It holds all of us accountable. The places where we go within this idea of race and what we do to the oppressions that we place on each other within race, places like gender, places like sexuality, and so on.
I mean, it's so exactly what it is for me, because, you know, I kept thinking as the word in all the isms, right? So racism, ageism, sexism, become the way that we speak. It's become a part of our everyday vernacular, especially here in the United States, unfortunately, because of all of the levels of the caste that exist. And yet, you know, if I'm very transparent, obviously I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to study some of this and have some sense of it, but I would never think that there is a caste system here in the United States. Right. And so the book really, and the film illuminates all of that. So I know that you didn't want to be presumptuous, but what would you hope that everyone would take away from this film in watching it? What would you hope, you know?
Well, first, I just want you to go see it.
Yeah.
I want you to go see it. I really do. And one of my frustrations with the conversation that I just had is that the person hadn't seen the film. They hadn't seen the film, you know. So I want people to go see it, and talk about it. Talk about it. I think that's what it does. It gets under your skin. People who are moved by it. Everybody might not be moved by it, but the people who are moved by it gets under their skin, and it demands conversation. It demands, and I think that from those conversations, you know, I hope that's contagious, because the more we talk about it, then we can build from those conversations something that has not existed before, maybe, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It shifts my way of thinking. I will say that. You know, to be intentional about how you go there with, and I hope whomever you were on the phone with before gets their ass and goes to see it. so they can perhaps be illuminated. And that's the language I would use for myself, is like the illumination, the new understanding, and being willing to think about things different, because it challenges my own consciousness.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's like, one thing is to be out here in the world speaking to people about what they need to do and what they shouldn't do, but is our consciousness challenged in either way, right? And so it challenged my consciousness in that way. And so I just, your performance is the levels. I mean, the levels on, I am floored by how you can show up in this space, have the softness of tending to your mom in the film. And I know that this is biographical of Miss Wilkerson's story, so I want to honor her as well, and recognizing that this is truth. And then to the loss that you experience, grief, to show up with grief, with a purpose, with all of that. There are so many pieces that I think are real life, and I'm speaking to the community now. There are so many pieces in here that are real life, that you will walk away not only feeling illuminated, but I also think feeling challenged in a way to understand the layers of how we have to show up in this human existence now in 2024. I want to be respectful of your time, and I'm so grateful. But it's award season, obviously, and you have won awards in the past, and I know that that has merit in the world, and now with Origin, with the nominations, and how does that feel for you? And is it something that you get excited about, or are you just like, I'm out here doing the work?
Well, Origin has largely been ignored by in this award season. To be frank, we've gotten a couple things, but we have not gotten any of the major. We ain't got no white awards. I know what I'm gonna say. We ain't got nary white nomination. We ain't got none of them. I'm just gonna be frank with you.
Just say what it is.
Yeah. We were acknowledged by the African American Film Critics Association. Very, very happy about that. Very happy about that. But we have been ignored big time. And it is upsetting, because these kinds of things, it helps.
It helps, yeah.
It helps people pay attention. And we want to penetrate the messaging in this book, the messaging of this film. We want to penetrate white America, because that's necessary. And we're still going to work on that, whether no matter what happens, we're still working on that and making sure that happens. Having conversations with people that we never would have conversations with before. That needs to happen. This film is an act of confrontation with things that folks want to hide and redact. So yeah, we've been ignored, but that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking to you.
And it's an unfortunate pattern that we see, like you say, with films like this that matter, films that are of not only cultural relevancy but cultural competency and growth, and how we accelerate and go to the next level. So I want everyone on here to be sure that you go, and yes, I am saving it, and it will be here on the page. Please go and see Origin. When you come off of shooting and working on a project like this that is so substantive and has so much weight, and all of the as I just keep saying, the levels, how do you kind of reestablish and reground yourself as an individual and as Aunjanue?
Girl, I come from that on a high. I come from it on a high. I feel good. I feel good. When you're doing something you don't believe in, that's what wears you out. That's what takes out your soul. That's what's draining, because you're having to work.
Yeah.
You gotta work to get to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do that with this.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We're so grateful. I mean, the entire film is just incredible, but your performance just really touched my soul. And it's the Black women that I know, and Niecy in it as your cousin Marion. Like, just it was just there were so many things that felt so comforting to me as a Black person watching this film. It touches on interracial relationships. It touches on, what it's like to be a caregiver. It touches on being a boss in your own right. It touches on, not wanting to do certain work, right? And then being called to do it, and what pulls you to do it, and then showing up in spite of the circumstances. I mean, there were so many things, but all for a purpose. And I think that was, now that I'm just saying it out loud, it to me, though this has obviously global impact and global merit and importance, to me as a Black woman, it was reassuring to see you as Miss Wilkerson in this role, and to hear and to learn the story of Miss Wilkerson. It was just reaffirming and reassuring about who I am and how I show up. So thank you so much, Aunjanue. We celebrate you. We support you. You are incredible, and we can't wait to see more. But as of Friday, everyone, please go see. Please.
Listen, imagine us as James Brown right now. Please.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, sis.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Can I share something?
Yes, please.
Whoever they ain't ready. Not everyone can go with us too. That's what I realized. Sometimes it's like I find that we're, the people who are poised to get it and who are willing to make some effort, and sometimes everyone just can't go with us, and that's painful. That's painful.
It is painful, but I also want to honor that this woman was in a place of hurt, and I want to honor that, and I don't want to disregard that at all, so yeah, I just feel like it's, especially in this conversation that we have yet to have about Black feminism, Black womanism, and just Black women who have been fighting patriarchy and building communities since they have been on these shores, but don't use that language.
Yeah.
They don't.
It wasn't a part of vernacular.
Yeah,
it's just like, this is what we did. We just showed up.
We just showed up and did it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the lack of the language is not, well, that's what you were, and you just don't know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
It might not have been a part of the vernacular, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a part of their knowledge.
Exactly.
Because that's what Sojourner Truth said. She knew what these women were doing.
Yep.
Ain't I a woman too? And we attribute, we tack on feminism to her. And what's also problematic about that is that she was being rejected by what was calling itself the feminist movement. She was being rejected by that movement. So what about that? What about the fact that my grandmother and my mother were being not included in these movements, and yet they were doing the work anyway? And all I am saying is that needs to be honored. That needs to be celebrated. Because where would we be as Black folks without women like my grandmother, who were the backbones of the freedom rights movement? Fannie Lou Hamer said, I am not a feminist. Now, are we going to disregard her work because she doesn't claim feminism?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And I say that not in anger and not in divisiveness. But that has to be said, that the work of these women, these Black women from the South particularly, that work matters.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's all I mean.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I received that. I thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All right.
Blessings to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And I apologize for being late. Thank you for still talking to me.
We're good. Love and blessings.
All right.